Well, welcome to Breaking the Silence. You have a voice. How is everybody doing today?
Doing well.
It was a
Well,
nice day outside, y'all.
you
Kind of
said it's
felt
a nice
like,
day outside.
well, here it is. We got
It is.
some spring. It's been cold, so
It was like that all week.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little tired of the cold weather.
Cold.
Yeah, I love the cold, but I need I need it to be a little warmer. So I'm excited about it. But how y'all doing? How you doing, Pastor Mel?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. And Dr. Isaac, how's it going?
I am doing terrific. Terrific. Taking it easy.
I'm digging the background.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
Alabama.
Alabama. Okay.
It's
All
going to
right.
change. Once I finish getting the studio together, it's going to change.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to hook mine up with the Pittsburgh Steelers slash the Texans. I got
Negative. Nothing goes besides the Steelers. Nothing.
well, we have that. We have the. I have to meet them halfway.
The
Right.
Texans
It's
suck.
what I do.
Mhm, mhm.
Well, you know, we missed a couple of weeks last week, and we were talking about the critical race theory,
Mhm.
and I wanted that to take us into talking about our youth. I can't even say our
Okay.
African American youth because I just want to say our youth because, like, does anybody realize that there is something going on with them?
Oh yes, totally.
Like they on their own doing their own thing. They not with us. They talk about the millenniums and then it was the generation X.
Yes, we're
Are we
Generation X.
generation X?
We are Generation X. Generation X is from 1965 to 79.
Mhm.
Millennials are from 1980 to 1994. Gen X is 1995 to 2012.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what's this new one?
The
New is it's a Z.
Zen, right? But to
Z.
be on, well, yes, it's the Z. Yeah,
It's the Z.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
No, it's not Z. I'm sorry. No, Z is 95 to 2012.
okay. All
So
right.
what are we calling these then? Just the millennials?
No, I want to say it's Zen.
It's Zen.
Zen
Okay.
is what I want to say.
Okay.
Well, I am going to say that whatever the XYZ it is, they're doing a lot, man. They're doing a lot. So I wanted to talk about it today because, and I'm glad that you timelined it because we definitely have a gap somewhere
Yeah.
that needs to be bridged together. So before we start our show, we want to welcome our viewers, welcome all of our Facebook viewers and YouTube, Caribbean Jammers. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Breaking the Silence. So let's talk about this. Because I'm seeing you. It used to be where the focus was on just ours, on African Americans. But it seems like some stuff is spilled over into all of the different nationalities, races of young people. And what's scary to me is it is starting young, y'all. Like, I'm looking at some of these young people that are 5 and 6, and I'm like, well, where are they going to be by the time they get 10? Because right at this particular moment, they on a different level of, I don't know if it's lack of discipline. I don't know if it's that they don't have good examples. There's not they're not being raised correctly, but it could be a mixture of things. And we have I think Dr. Bennett Oh, she made it. Hi.
Did.
Hey.
Hello.
So, one of the things that we talked about was the last time we were together, we were talking about how it's important that we educate our children on where they come from, and that would give them a better understanding of who they are. But somewhere, when we were growing up, there was just a level of respect. This
Yeah.
is start with respect.
Mm-hmm.
We had a respect for older. We had a respect for those who, I don't know about you, but I couldn't just call an adult person. Now let's talk about adult. Adult is not the person that's the same age as you. Adult is my mom always said anybody that's 10 years and older, you have to put a miss, auntie, cousin, some kind of title before their name. And I don't even see that. Like, I hear children calling their parents by their first name, and nevertheless, other people's parents. So, it's like the respect is not there. The way they talk back, I know I couldn't say those things to my mom. I
You
would
know,
teeth.
that actually goes back to that goes back to what we are teaching our children. Uh,
That's
and I'm not going to say that that's all generations, because even in our generation, there were some people that didn't have that level of respect. So it actually goes to what's required inside of the house. Um, inside of my house, it either was a yes or a no, or a yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes
mhm.
sir, no sir. Anytime outside of the house, of course, being raised in the South, um, I don't know if it had anything to do with with our slavery, but it was, you always said yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. Um, Whenever that adults was in the room, no children was in the room, and if you were a child and you needed the attention of adult, you stood at the door, and and somehow you got some adults' attention, but you never came into the room.
That
Nowadays, we have children all up inside of adult business, and they shouldn't be in adult business.
Yeah,
mm,
yeah.
no.
Like, children are literally able to. I mean, I remember when I was coming up, my mom had the saying, you stay in the child's place, you better not, even if you were thinking it, you better not interject an adult conversation. I don't care what they were talking about, you better just walk away. But
Right.
now I'm hearing uh children, they're able to have conversations, and be all in the conversation while the adult people are
Mhm.
conversating, and that's not cool.
Yeah, because too, if you look at the relationship that parents have with their children today, they're more like friends. They're
Mhm.
looking at their children like, oh, that's my friend. And I have known adults to tell their little children their problems or things that's going on. It's like, where's the parent? Where's the child? And so and two, I'm going to say, you also have young parents raising children.
Mm.
So here it is. They may not have liked how they were raised, and they didn't like the fact that they had to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, or yes. And it's like, you know what? I'm not going to do that with my children. You know what? They can say, what, or huh? Excuse me. I know I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
slapped back in the day. I would get slapped in the face if I dare did that. And like you said, Minister Isaac, as soon as grown folks were around, I knew I better get lost quick,
Mhm.
fast, and in a hurry. And like you said, if I needed an adult's attention, yes, I would sneak down the stairs. Like you said, wait for an opportunity. If it was important, then I'll say, you had to say, excuse
Excuse me.
me,
Yes.
Yes.
excuse me, in order to say your question or whatever it was. But if it wasn't important, get your butt up them steps. You know,
Mhm.
Exactly.
that's how it was.
Exactly.
I even look at we ate as a family at the table.
Always.
We ate together. And do you all know that we could not be excused? In order for us, if we were finished eating, we couldn't just get up from the table. This is my household growing up. And we had to say, may I please be excused from the table. Now you don't even have families eating together. The kids upstairs in the room eating, the adults eating. You even have where it's separation. And I look at that, and even though I was raised where we could, but it was as a teenager, I could go in my room and close the door. One thing in the Butler household, you're not closing no door in my house
That's true.
unless
That's true.
you need privacy. The reason why I did that, because I knew what went on behind closed doors when I was coming up, and I was not saved. So I knew, what happened behind closed doors. And to me, it just feels like you're shutting everybody out, and I just want to be left alone. So here in the Butler household, you ain't closing no doors. Like I said, not unless you are changing. You finish changing, you open that door back up.
And you know what, Mel? That's true, because back when my children were coming up, they struggled with that rule. They felt like, I think one of them told me, well, they I'm not gonna say which one, but they said their teacher told them that they had a right to their privacy. And I said, you don't have a right to anything. I own everything that you have. I said, including your thoughts. I said, until you get grown, you don't even have a right to your own thoughts. And a lot. I think that the problem is, and you hit it. Children right now, we have a parenting thing where parents are trying to be their children's friends. And I know that I struggled with that with my children. I remember, my children saying, well, why can't I just be your friend? You can't be my friend. I'm your parent. Now, when you get older, we can establish a different relationship. But
Right.
right now, you're my child. And when we start crossing over and you seeing, it's one thing you dress like your daughter, but there has to be still a distinction between who you are and who she is. The same thing with father and son. It's no boundaries, because we're so busy trying to be just like them. So they don't understand respect because they don't have it modeled for them. A lot of the parents, they say what? They say they don't know how. Like, we were taught to say good morning. We
Yeah.
were taught to say, may I have, so can you pass me something, please? Can you? That's how we were taught. We were taught to use our polite words and our manners. Now, forget eating at the table. These kids just don't have no manners. It's like, they don't use napkins. They don't care about really anything, because it hasn't been enforced. And anything that's not taught, they're not going to be able to do, because their parents didn't enforce it. Our parents enforced those things. I could never. I don't care what was going on in the Bennett household. I could be mad at my mom because she disciplined me, or my dad disciplined me, but I bet not ever ever wake up and not say good morning.
Right.
That's what's gonna happen.
Right.
You're gonna get some extra days added on to the punishment just for not saying good morning.
Right. Or even looking at them cross-eyed. But today, the children are allowed to do that. Free speech. How do you feel today? Well, I'm going to let them voice their opinion. How are you feeling? Well, okay, wait a minute. There's a correct way and there is an incorrect way doing things. Because one thing I can say, and I even look at it too, we were taught during that time how to use a fork, how to use a knife, how to sit at the table. Etiquette is something that we were actually taught today. And I look at it, and you see it all the time, Lady V, in daycare center. You can see which parents are working and not working with their children. Even how to hold a pencil or to hold scissors.
Yeah.
Kids don't even know how to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I can't ever recall honestly my children eating and food just being all over the place. I
Exactly.
never experienced that because I taught my children at one how to sit down and eat. You know,
Very
you
good.
don't drop your food on the floor. You don't throw your bowl on the floor. You don't throw your food on the floor. If you don't want your food, then I can take your food, but you don't throw it on the floor. But now, again, we've accepted so much of the behaviors that go on in the youth today. Like you said, we get the talking back and all. I heard of somebody. I was in the store and the mom had said something to her child. The child had to be about 12, and she said, "You all up in my business."
Ooh.
I
Woo.
wanted to reach and get a fork.
Woo.
What? You don't have no business at 12.
Right. Right.
Well, a lot of children too. They my heart goes out for people that work with children throughout the course of the day, whether it be daycare, school, even church. And
Hmm.
a lot of children in church have no respect. They are very combative.
That's
They
right.
talk back, but they see their parents do it.
That's
They
right.
Yes,
see their parents do it.
exactly.
They hear their parents. If there's a two-parent household, they
Hmm.
are allowed to, hear what parents are talking about instead of the parents going out into, the car or whatever to seclude what's going on. Children today, my heart goes out to the people that have to take care of children in
Hmm.
any way, shape, or form, and I feel sorry for the children
Hmm.
Right.
because they're picking up a lot of things from their parents, and it's really
Absolutely.
really sad. I saw one even in the mall when you're walking in the mall with a child. If a child bumped into someone, you stop that child and you
Hmm.
say excuse me.
Hmm.
You have to teach your child. You
That's
teach
right.
them. You teach them, and if you don't teach them, who's going to teach them? They pick up all sorts of habits. With my son, we were in a mall when he was younger, and we were in Learners at the time, and I said, Lamont, you are not to look up underneath that lady's room. You can't look up under there.
Mm.
Don't do that. He just slipped up under there. I took off my belt and I said,
Oh,
you better not do that. Just that quick. A lady was from a social worker.
Hmm.
She was a social worker. And before I knew it, I was in security's office. They said, I beat the job. Didn't even touch. I said, I gave him a little fear. By the time I got home, they had picked up my license plate number and Diapers was at my house. And I said this to Diapers. They wanted me to sign a paper. You can never, ever beat this child, strike this child, or we're going to take him. I said, do me a favor. Take
Take
him
him.
down.
Take him.
Right.
Take
oops.
him right now. I said, because I can't promise you that. First of all, I didn't hit him, but I'm going to discipline my child. They took Lamont to the side. They said, did your mommy hit you? He said, no, and she never does. he said, he said, my mommy has never hit me. Never, ever, ever. I
That's
said,
it.
he's telling the truth.
But
Yeah.
go ahead,
You
Dr.
know, um, I think that we need to get back to open discipline, and
Yeah.
society has slowly taken that
Yeah.
away. Uh, and I'm not talking about beatings like that we got, because we got
Right.
killings.
Yes, we did.
We got killings. Now I will say that was a form of abuse, but we all right.
Right. Right.
We all
We
right.
made
We
it.
all
We
right.
made it.
We
We
Right.
made
made
it.
it.
Right.
Just like the playgrounds we had, the playgrounds was full of lead,
Mhm.
metal, all that. We
Right.
survived. We all right. And it
Right.
seemed like more children dying on this new wave playground than they are the actual old school. But I remember the days that we had open discipline. I remember the actual days that when we spoke about earlier that it took a village to raise the child. I remember the day that that the community that you live in, because everybody knew each other. Well, I'm telling your mama on you. I'm
Yeah.
telling your dad on you. And I remember the days that that the father was the disciplinary for the house. Um, I remember all of those days, but look at where we are now. Now we are to a point that you better not say anything to my child. You better
Exactly.
not touch my child. You better not do nothing to my child. And because of fact, we have a lack of respect for each other as adults.
Yeah.
Our children pick that up and they
Yep.
have the lack of respect of you as an adult because I have an issue with you.
Yeah.
It's
Because
true.
Exactly.
parents go to school and they defend the child, and before they even get down to the bottom of what really happened. And
Mhm.
a lot of parents teach their children, you tell me if anybody say anything to you, I'll
Right.
take care of them. And
Right.
and children repeat this. I worked in the school system. I used to hear it all the time. I'm telling my mother, she'll come here and she'll
Yep.
get this straightened out. You
Right.
don't teach a child that.
Yep.
But even in the school system today, which is really, really sad, you actually have kids who, and I want to say this probably happened like 3 years ago, but it's been going on, where you have kids who will fight the teacher.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I,
That's
You
I
right.
know,
remember what year that started.
that level.
Yeah.
Yes. What year did that start? I want to say that started like in the in the early 2000s
Probably I
when our
want,
children start fighting teachers.
yeah, which is really sad. And then this is the sad thing. But then when the teacher goes to defend it, yes, teachers are scared
Yeah,
now.
yes.
But when teachers go to defend themselves, they're the ones who get in trouble. Really?
That's right.
But the thing is, and there's something that Derek said. He said because there's no discipline,
Yeah.
these kids don't have any fears. So
Mhm.
with no fears, they will want to fight you for disciplining them. And
Yeah.
see, I think that where we lost the control over that, go back to something that Mom said. Um, Child Protective Services
Yes.
stepped in. And when Child Protective Services
Mm.
stepped in, it caused us to step back. But the only problem is, and I remember having that talk with, because I too had a situation with Child Protective Services. They, one of my special children was like, "Oh, my mom spanked me." So that she took my children, and y'all know my kids, they a little
Yes,
special.
and all.
So
She said one of the
so
special
they
kids.
little special kids. So she talked to them, she interviewed all of them, and she was like, "Well, I'm gonna have to come to your house, and I'm gonna have to talk to the kids every week." And so when she came to the house, I said, "Because I'm not doing this." I had listen, y'all know how I was back in the day.
Mhm.
I had about 20 suitcases packed.
I know that's right.
And she came to the house. She said, "Are you going somewhere?" I said,
Mm-mm.
"No, they
They
are.
are.
They're
They are.
going with you." She said, wait a minute. I said, "No, let me tell you something. Since you think that you can do a better job with
Mhm.
these 4
Then
children,
you take them.
you take them, you raise them, and you let me know how it work out." I
That's
said,
right.
"Because as long as they're in my house, I'm
That's
going
right.
to discipline them. You're not going to tell me that I can't discipline my children." And she was like, "Okay, ma'am, that's okay. That's okay." But see, when they took the power away from us, and the children began to know that the power was taken. That
Yeah.
goes back to
Yes.
what Derek said.
Yes.
Once that power was taken away, there was no fear. So now they'll pull that trump card. "Oh, I'll call 911. Oh, I'll call." So now you as a parent are like, "Oh, because one, you value your job, and most jobs you cannot have any type of
Right.
domestic or any type of, not these days. So they took our power away from how things used to be. Because the lady asked, she said, "Well, did your mother spank you?" I said, "All the time.
Mhm.
When I needed the spanking, I got it." I said, "I turned out fine."
Mhm.
She turned out fine. But they stepped in because our teachers, now I don't know about y'all, but my teachers were able to spank me.
Yes,
Exactly.
mine were too.
And the principal.
And
Yes.
if you said something, I had a teacher that was I remember Mr. Kaplan. He was a big guy.
Yeah,
He snatched me up one day and he said, "What did you say?" I said, "Nothing."
Hey, look at this. I remember getting that. Hey, look, I remember getting that thick ruler across the hand.
Yes.
Get
yes.
the hand back. Oh Lord.
Or across your butt.
Mm.
Right. But see, now you can't touch him. And it's something that Isaac just said, you cannot talk to anybody's child because the parent gonna try to fight you.
Exactly.
I was talking to a parent in school last week, and she just cussed me completely out because she said that the teacher said that her daughter need to mind her business. I said, well, she does. She's a child.
She does. Stay in our grown folks' business. You know, one thing I could say that I love about my son is the one thing I always hear about him is people say that he's very mannerable. I'm
Yeah.
like, do
Yeah.
y'all find that to be strange or something?
Yes.
Like it's
Yes.
strange, you know. And I'll never forget because Betty and I never talked to Isaac um with a childish voice, thanks to the butlers. You know, we learned this from the butlers. But we never talked to him in a childish voice. We actually talked to him in complete sentences, right? So when he speaks in such
Very
eloquence,
proper.
very proper, you know, just to hear him talk. But what amazed me, even today, even when he speak to adults, no matter who that adult is, if Isaac feel that you are an adult, he still answers you with yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But we don't want to be told yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. We
Mhm.
think that that makes us feel old, but
No, I
we
want
don't
to hear it.
realize that it causes us to be respected. You know, I
Mhm.
had an opportunity to meet my husband's daughter, and I told him yesterday. I said, you know, it was such a pleasure meeting her because you know she had the sense enough to put a title in front of my name. You
Right.
don't have to call me mom, but she called me Miss Yvonne. I was like, what? Yes, somebody taught you some manners.
Mhm.
Right.
Because
No, no,
these children will call you by your first name. They don't realize that again, when you're old enough to be somebody's mom, okay, I have
Mhm.
to give you permission to call me by my first name.
That's right.
okay, I'm happy you said that. So y'all know the Butler household. It's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. You better put a title in front of the name. So one of our children who moved away from home is around the people of other color, and they go by first name basis. So, it's like, okay, me being called by my first name, Pastor being called by his first name, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then me hearing that child call the girlfriend mama by the first name. And so, anyway, they came home for Christmas one year, and that same child had gotten a gift from a relative and said, oh, thank you, and called them by their first name. Pastor said, what did you call them? Now, here it is, you in your 20s. But what did you call them? You better put a title in front of that.
That's
Just
right.
because you move away. Now, when you in your home,
You do what you want to do.
that you do it your way. But as for us and the Butler household and you around us, no, there is still respect level that you
Yeah.
will have. I don't
Mhm.
care how old you are.
Mhm.
But the thing is, they have to still see that modeled in us. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there was a time where, the ladies first.
Yes.
You
Hey, look, I still do that now.
men opened the door
I still
for
do that
a
now.
lady. That you never saw a lady struggling to hold carry bags or
Mhm.
anything like that. You know, ladies first. We would go to restaurants when I was growing up. We always, my dad would always start with my mom and
Yep.
Mhm.
us before he ordered. It will always be where, he will open the door for us even till today. That's just the way it was. But see, now it's not even a thought. It's considered corny to open the door for you. Want me to open the door for you?
But
Nevertheless,
fun,
you
but
need to
fun.
carry something.
No, hey, look, I don't know because some of these women these days they don't even they don't even give you opportunity to even come around and
I was
open
going
the
to
door
say
for you.
that,
That's
Dr.
true.
Isaac.
Yeah.
Some women don't even wait for a man to open the door for them. they're so used to doing things on their own, and they never saw it in their own household.
That's right.
So they run to the door. But going back to yes ma'am, no ma'am, I do it as an adult. And even if the person is not older than me, if somebody waits on me, I just say yes ma'am, thank you ma'am, thank you sir. And I do it, and I want people around me to hear it, especially kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Derek said these kids have to know that respect is one of the things you need to get a good job, a good wife, and have a good life. That is true.
He's telling the truth.
That is true. That is true.
Hey, Derek, I'm sorry. You got to excuse a good husband in there too, you guys. You got to put a good husband in there too.
That's true. But yeah, but that's one thing we try to model things out. But I'm going to take it even a step further. This isn't only what we do in our house. We also do it in ministry. And we just had a conversation about this in our elders training. And so what we actually taught them, we call our elders and our ministers and even the lay members, we put a title on it, and we respect them in yes sir, or how you doing ma'am, or it's all about respect. So it's not only, and the reason why we do that is because we are showing our members that we respect them. Yes. We respect them in whatever atmosphere or title that they are in. So it's not just in the home, but it's also outside of the home. Right. Now, sometimes some people get it, sometimes people don't get it. But that's something that Pastor and we always try to do, is respect people, who they are and where they are at.
Well,
and it's nice to do that. It's really good to do that. And if you want that respect, you should give that respect.
There you go. Yes, ma'am.
I think that it's also a cultural difference, though, when it comes to that. Because
yes.
when you go to a lot of Caucasian churches, and I don't know if it's a disrespect more so than it's just that's the way their culture is. Because I know when I was in Texas, I attended a church where it was predominantly white, and they all called each other by their first name. Yeah. But you didn't feel disrespected because it was within the culture. So it wasn't I'm not going to call you by pastor or this one or that one, because that was the culture in the building. It's a difference when the culture is how it is in your home and you're going a different way from the culture. Right. It is totally different. And African American people, we have always been respectful people. We have always been people that, when you say something, just because that's how we was raised, a big mama in the house, you couldn't roll your eyes and say what you want to say. My mom would have knocked my head all the way. I think I said something one time to my mom in the backseat. Mom had extended hands, and she could drive and slap at the same time. And she turned around and she said, "What did you say?" I was like, "Oh, apparently the wrong thing."
Can I be the advocate for a second?
Yes.
I ain't gonna say the other word, but can I be the advocate for a second? Can I give a different perspective? How much of that is learned behavior, which means this? How much of discipline is learned behavior from slavery days? Because we know that we could not talk back to the slave owners, right? Mm-hmm. So how much of that was learned behavior of historical mistreatment?
Well, me,
was
military.
Okay, for you, it was military. Okay,
military. That's why it was instilled. So that's where we actually got it from.
Okay,
I think a lot of it was learned behavior, but I also think that when you know better, you do better.
Yeah,
because I can say if I knew what I knew now, I probably would have done some things differently in disciplining my children, because I think that we also, and it goes back to something that you said, we adopted of behavior,
Mm.
and we did more hitting and not
Yeah.
talk.
Talking.
You know,
Yes.
and there has to be a balance. Now, let's flip it, because when we look at the other cultures, okay, their children are off the chain because they don't spank at all. They like their kids come to school, and when I tell you you can't do anything with them, you can't do anything with them because they don't have any discipline. So
Mm.
I think that there can be too much discipline, and then there can be not enough discipline. It
Oh,
has
Hey,
to be a
s-
balance. It
something
can't just
something
be
about that stern look.
yeah, I mean, and it should be that way. I remember someone told me one time, "Well, your children shouldn't fear you." Yes, they should.
Yes, they should.
Yes, they should. If I look at you and you looking at me, and I can't look at my child, and my child stop doing what they're doing, that's a problem.
Yes,
yeah.
you
That
know
is
what?
a problem.
Yvonne, you know that's a that's a very good point. I'll never forget the day that my son became afraid of me out of because he had never seen me be stern. Because there was no need for him. There was no need for me to be stern with him when he was 6, 7, 8 years old. You know, right? Because he was still learning. I never forget the very first time he saw me stern. Because I took him to work with me. I was in the military, so it required some extra sternness, right? And he said that it scared him. When we got home, he said, "Dad, you scared me. I didn't know that you could be that mean."
Mm.
And it was like, no, I wasn't being mean. I needed to I say what I had to say in a very forceful manner so that because I am the leader, I had to say something that I needed them to move and when I told them to move. And so he said, "Dad, I don't ever want to make you mad like that."
Right.
But it caused him a level of fear because he finally heard the sternness in my voice and the directness, and that is what made him fearful.
But you never had to use it on him.
There you go.
So here it is. Oh, wait a minute. He was able to see that other side of you. So guess what? It would cause him to think twice if he ever wanted to try you.
Exactly.
Right. And
Exactly.
that's the whole thing. You don't. I think that go back to something you said, um, with the us learning things from slavery. Yeah, because we were taught that we were out of control, and this was the only way we can be in control. But when you look at it now, we have to. There has to be, and this is where it gets a little tricky. It has to be the same level of love given in the home as it is
It's discipline.
discipline.
That's right.
If you're yelling and screaming and
All
cussing
the
at your
time.
children,
Yeah.
and you're hitting your children, and you're telling them that they nothing, and you're calling them out their name, and then
Right.
you turn around and that's all you're doing, those children are they're going to become violent. They're going to
Yes.
become angry because they're not getting hugs and love and affection. They're not being told. And I look at some children, even when they come to school, you can tell what kind of morning they had. You
Yeah.
can tell that them
Yes.
not somebody yelled at them or whatever, because you already set the tone in their day. So now somebody else goes back to what we said with the teachers. The reason why the teachers are being abused is because the children, they come to school and they bring what they can't do with their parent, they doing to their teacher, because they know that they can't get away with that at home. They getting hit, they getting slapped, they getting cussed at. But when they get
Mhm.
to school, oh, okay, well, I'm angry now. I'm gonna take all my anger out on
Misplaced
the
anger.
teacher. And so teachers are not even able to enjoy being a teacher. It used to be where you remember the little apple, and you saw the teachers and they were like, they would come in the morning and they would be not anymore. Yeah, because they got more and more teachers are like, I don't want to be a teacher because
Mhm.
I don't feel like being abused every day by your child.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They just don't want to do it. You don't pay them enough money to do
Exactly.
that because the
Mhm.
kids they're so disrespectful. And I mean, they disrespectful on a different level. They're not disrespectful a little bit. They like disrespectful to the place where if you're not in your right person,
Mm.
your real right person,
Tell me.
they
Look,
can
they calling y'all names and everything now.
Yeah. Well, a lot of parents are guilty of abusing their children for the way they treat them, the way they talk to them, because of what was done to them.
right.
We were talking about privacy. There's a way you teach a child. Discipline, like you said, discipline and love needs to come together. So you don't just shun a child off and tell a child stay in a child's place. You explain to that child, mommy and daddy have some things to talk about. And what I want you to do is to make sure you stay yourself, keep yourself busy, because we have to talk about some personal things. And then there's time for that child. Is there anything that you want to talk to me about? Always leave that door open for a child to be able to come to you. I want my children to have that fear of me, but not afraid to come to me if you need to come to me with something, because I want to keep that door open to let them know, hey, look, I'm on your side.
Yes. You know,
I'm
I
the
would never.
parent, you're the child, but I want to give you the best advice, and I know right now you need it.
Yes, you know, I would never forget the time that my son questioned me, as in, like when I said, like I told him to do something, and so he said, "Why?" And I said, because I'm the parent and I'm the one that tells you what to do." And then he was like, "Dad,
Mhm.
that doesn't compute to me."
Mhm.
Like, what? Boy, you go do what I told you to do because I am the parent, I am the adult, and you go do what I want you to do. He said, "Dad, you asked me to go do something that I don't fully understand."
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm.
So at that moment, he told me that I need to start explaining, even though that we feel that we shouldn't have to explain
And
ourselves,
you
right?
need to.
Exactly. We should not have to explain ourselves. But for a child to have a level of understanding, there are some things that do need to be
That's right.
explained.
But the thing about it is, when you say do it because I say so, we then, because now you got to think about everything that's going on out there. When it used to be where we weren't allowed to question
Right.
authority. It used to be where we weren't able to
Mm.
Right.
ask why. Now you have to, because, and it has to start with home, because you have so many twisted people out there.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you tell my child to do something and you're a pedophile or whatever you are, and their life is in danger, but they've been taught that they can't ask why. Now they're put in a position where they're like, well, I can't ask why
Right.
at home.
Right.
The tables have turned now. So you have to allow a child to ask you, okay, well, why am I doing this? And you ought to be an intelligent person to be able to give that child an intelligent answer without
Right.
just saying, do it
Absolutely.
because I say so.
Mhm.
Because if that's the case, when they get to school and the teacher says, well, just do it because I say so,
Mhm.
that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the millennial. That is the group where things begin to change, and that is from 1981 to 1996. Things begin to change. Now this Gen Z, which is from 97 to 2012, they're on a whole nother planet.
Mm.
Whole nother planet. And this is the generation who they are, number one, that I want to do things this the easy way. I'm going to stand up for what's right. I'm going to speak for other people. What do you do? You know, they're not afraid to step in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're the ones who's going to come together and speak for what is right. You know, like we said, it started with the millennials with what I need a better understanding of why do I need to do X, Y, and Z.
Mm.
Once I have that understanding, oh, that's why. Okay, I can understand it, which it causes them, number one, to be smarter, but then some to a certain extent, because when you look at Gen Z, they don't even know how to communicate. Everything is with the phone.
Yeah.
Everything is with this telephone.
Yeah.
And it's I want to say it's Gen Alpha. But when you look at it, you know, because technology has made them lazy, and then their communication skills is so poor. You're talking to a child, but their head is too busy in the phone or whatever they're doing. But here it is. That's where that training comes in.
Hmm.
But I said all of that to say this is, Minister Isaac, it started with the millennials with
Hmm.
the why.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No,
True that.
Well,
I got
yeah,
like what I Sharon said. I actually like that.
what did
Uh,
yeah. She said, as a high school teacher, it bothers her to hear the B word tossed around like it's a normal talk.
yep.
The music, social media posts, TV posts, the world around young people seem to embrace or encourage degrading language, especially towards young females. And that, you know what, that is so true.
It
but
And
is.
you
that
also got to
goes
think
back
about.
to what we were saying with the mentors and us modeling. If we're saying it, it
Right.
used to be where if you were called a B,
That's time. It's time to fight.
we fighting.
But
We
you know,
fighting.
that was before. That was before that we knew that the B word was a scientific name for a female dog.
True.
So that is the reason why the B word is allowed to be said so freely because it is the scientific name for a female
Yeah, but
dog.
the thing about it is when you called a woman a B
Yes, but we use it now
or
in a but we use it. Okay, so it's two ways that is used. Well, three ways. It's used in scientific. It's used as as a derogatory term,
Right.
as well as now people use it as a term of endearment now.
Yeah. Which I agree with that. But and it all depends on the circle that you're in.
And that's right. That's
It
right.
Because I look at it as derogatory. Um, you know, well, of course, in the Christendom, at least I pray it's not being. I pray it's not being.
It's
But
scientific. As long as it's used in a scientific way,
I can
that's used properly.
how is it scientific or not. In Christendom, I pray is not being used, but it's to me it's just derogatory. To me, it's a lack of respect for me.
Hmm.
well, that's the whole thing. It's not a lack of respect now with this
No,
generation
I said
because
for me,
right for us it was. You called us a B. We fighting. You call us a you hear it. It's so
you
freely
do.
on
You
Hmm.
social media in the. I mean everything is so different. It's like even women back then you couldn't call a woman a hoe, but
right,
now they call you a hoe. It's okay. It's like, oh yeah, he called me a hoe. I'm like, what?
right. It's this generation that
It's
that
the South.
And they happy
that
to be called that. Girl, let
right.
me tell you what he said. I'm
I
like,
don't know. It actually broke down every single thing that we found to be respectful norms. Every single. So for anybody that was born in the 70s, well,
60s.
early, or let's say early 80s, all the way back to like from the early 80s and older, it broke down all these societal norms that we were taught were respectful things and respectful ways to actually talk to people. I have found it today, being a single man dating, that some women have a hard time of a man talking to them with the level of respect.
That's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a
And it's sad. It's sad,
Well, that's because they thugged out.
No, it's not even. I can't even say that. No, I can't say that. It's about being. It's not even about being thugged out. It's more about. It's more about the reduction of your standards. You know, and
I can
and
see.
when you reduce your standards to a level
Mhm.
to where now that I'm just going to accept this, because this is all that I can get. No, that is not all you can get. So but it's amazing the things that we tear down about ourselves, the things that we tear down that are that are merely out of just true respect, it's amazing how that those norms have completely been broken down, and we can I take it to when it has gone to the point of being the independent woman. Now, like I said, chivalry. If you try to give a woman chivalry now, she ain't like, what you open the door for me for? I can get my own dough. Like really, let me be a man.
But I
But
mean,
but then on the flip side, we got men that are seeking out women just to be taken care of by women.
that's true.
And talking about this, and I think about Jemiah, and her thing is she's looking for,
She's spoiled.
well, she was taught right. She's
Yes, she
looking
was.
for a guy who wants to date her mind and not her behind. She has
Mhm.
gotten to a point where she is like, after a while, she can tell he doesn't want anything. And she has had examples, and I even told her the examples. I said, there's two guys who were crazy about you, and what they did to show you that they were crazy about you. I said that right there is pretty much start for a standard of what you're
Mhm.
looking for.
Yeah.
And then of course your daddy also told you, wait a minute now, look, I you got a daddy, okay, she got a daddy,
Hold
you
on, y'all
know,
gotta understand.
and
Jemiah is at a level that a lot of
her
young women her age
her
are not at.
yeah.
So you got to keep that in mind too, because that thing to my, if a man can't do this for me, that my dad doing for me, he can't even talk to me. I was like, but your dad had to get to that level
Right,
first.
Yeah,
right,
but the thing about it is he set the standard. And it goes back
Yes.
to
that,
we set standards for our children.
that's right,
I could never, my dad and my mom, they didn't let me go outside without my hair combed.
right.
We didn't
Mhm.
go out looking with
Slippers and
bedroom slippers
pajama
on. Your bedroom
Pajamas on.
slippers is not, and your PJs are not a fashion statement. It is
Mm.
not for the world to see.
I don't
You
know.
had to get dressed. You had to put your
look
good
deep,
face on. You had to wash your face, brush your teeth. I had to do all that before I could go outside.
right.
They taught
Look,
you. You go. My mom took me. She showed me how to get my nails done and how to take care of myself and so forth. These girls now, they look
Their
look,
standards
crazy.
so
they
low.
And she
hey,
was never,
they'll come outside naked now.
and
What you
my
talking
girls
about?
were never allowed to wear nail polish half on. You
Ex-
either gonna wear it or
d-
you're gonna take that off.
Bingo. And
Right.
this, don't you walk around with no, and I have told Jemiah, because before she used to try, Jemiah, I know you ain't going out with your toenails looking like that or your nail polish. I know you
Right.
know if it's chipped, you better take it off.
Take it off.
So and at first she couldn't understand it in the beginning. Now it's like, oh,
Oh, she
got,
divified now.
I
But
got
but then let's flip it with the boys. I just wish. I thought that the thing was going to go away, but the saggy
feeling
pants hanging off the butt.
The
feel.
saggy pants started in the late 80s is when
Okay,
it really started.
It hasn't gone
It
away.
started in the late 80s because
you
I
know
remember,
where it came from.
I want to do a true study of where, people say
I,
that it came from the prison, uh,
it mhm.
that, that when you were locked up, that this is what it meant. It actually meant different things when your pants were up versus when your
Yep,
pants were
yep.
down. But I think it's further than that. And I, I've never really got a full understanding of it. So yes, I think that that the street word is that it came from the prison, but I'm wondering if it came further than that. If it
I
came,
don't care. To be
Okay,
honest with
but
you,
but
can
but
I
I
don't care
but
where
but
it
look,
came from.
yeah,
It's
true
a
that.
bad look. And now here's the
Yes,
thing. Now you got our girls walking around with their pants hanging off their behind.
Yes.
So that's
look,
even worse.
listen, look. I will say this.
can I tell you real
I,
quick where it came from?
Go ahead.
The origin. Okay, this was a prison thing that signified that you were another prisoner's property.
Mhm.
It was their witch.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's where it came from.
That's
And
where it
it
came
said,
from.
listen, punks were forced to wear their pants this way so it would be easier for their master to pull their pants
Oh
down
wow.
and from the back.
Wow,
Mhm.
Derek. Well, wow, Derek. Thank you, Derek.
What he
Thank you,
said,
Derek. Spell it backwards. Sagging.
oh,
Thank you, Derek. So, but you know what though, and even now it's even worse because now they've gone to the actual skinny jeans to this what is it, skinny slim
no,
jeans.
skinny, just skinny.
No,
Just
they got skinny slim out there. So I'm like I was shopping in Vegas last week when I was in Vegas. Me and one of my homeboys was shopping, and we asked the stores, why is it incredibly impossible to find normal size pants for average
Yeah,
men
yeah,
today? Why, why is it that, why is it that the stylists or the clothing makers are going towards these skinny jeans? I said, because when you got guys like us, that's, that we have an athletic body, we can't fit that stuff,
no.
you know. So it's like now, like there's only one style of Levi jeans I could buy today. Only
Mm-hmm.
one style.
well, everything is being made
We
Yeah.
gender
Nah,
neutral.
no, I'm not even talking about the gender neutral stuff, but I'm speaking about just having jeans or pants or slacks. For me to go buy a suit, like I just went and bought a tuxedo. I had to buy the tuxedo a
Differences.
size larger than I was just to get the pants that actually fit me. And then had to go get the jacket tailored down to the size that I need to actually wear. And it shouldn't be that way. What happened to getting the normal size clothes for normal size people? Because there are
Well,
Because it's more of them than it is of you.
true.
look,
More of them than it is of us.
look, look, pretty
Same.
soon.
It's the same with women's clothing. It's you. It is what it is.
you
eh,
can't find the shirt that comes below your belly
Right.
button.
Right. Yeah, you find these all
but
the shirts. I mean, I looked in the store and I just wanted a normal shirt, and I said to the lady, I said, "Can you just help me find a shirt? I want to match this." Everything that she showed me was above the navel, and I'm like, "Do I look like I wear that?"
yeah, mom, you can wear it, mom. You all right.
I ain't wearing that. I ain't wearing that. No, thank you.
Hey, now look, I got a friend that I tell you, I be like, hey, she's like, if you got it, flown it. I don't care.
No, I ain't
But
No.
wearing that.
but yes, but it's hard to shop these days. Like, what happened to the normal clothes? What just happened to
Not
the
there
normal
anymore.
respectable stuff?
They're
You
going
know,
back to it. They
y-
are, because if you look at now, like for women, now you have, because it went to the skinny, then it went to high waisted. Now we have boot cut. We got bell bottoms that are coming back in.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Flare legs that's coming back in. Now they're calling it mom jeans. So now, let me say this, for women, the jeans are fluid. Well, not fluid, but you got from the skinnies.
several styles.
all
Yes,
Oh yeah, you got from the skinnies to the relax to
yeah,
the boot cut to the mom jeans. So there it has actually changed, because if you notice during COVID, people got away from wearing jeans, and then a lot of times, now remember, leggings was, oh my god, leggings was everything. And I mean, you still see women out wearing leggings, but they during COVID, you saw more people who were wearing sweatsuits and more of the relaxed fit, and people stopped really buying clothes like they used to, because it's, I'm lounging around the house, and that's why you see so many people wearing sweatsuits now. Now I'm going to tell you another thing that is on the horizon. You see a lot more women wearing tennis shoes with their suits.
hmm
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
yes.
a lot of the dressing, it's not, I mean, you have people who still dress up, but then you have people who are dressy casual all the way down to
Yeah,
casual
yeah,
now.
but Pastor Mel, I would say this: inside the inner metropolitan cities, when a business dress or a business suit for women with tennis shoes was a norm.
That's true.
I
Because
didn't start seeing that until I started coming to major metropolitan areas,
yeah,
where there was
Well, typically
a
those
nice mass transit system.
they
mhm.
have their shoes though to
In the
change
car.
things
Yeah,
because
right,
a
right,
lot of
yes,
times they wear the tennis shoes or the flats in order for them to maneuver metro
Right.
yes,
whatever.
right,
But once
right.
they get to work,
They
Right.
put
they're
on the
putting
heels, yeah.
on.
Or in
But
case they
but
have to run.
but the thing is, again, you even when you talk about even when you talk about just the appearance, the difference in generations, like we've always talked about enhancements. Is one thing to enhance, is another thing. I can't even hire you because I can't see your eyes because your eyelashes is
Right.
here,
Butterflies.
here, they
Right.
here. And I don't know what to do. They walk in and I'm like, I was interviewing somebody today and I couldn't focus because they're here. And I'm like, and so it causes me to start going. I'm trying to figure out how would she see it? Because and every time she talks, I'm like,
Yeah. Wow.
Well, hey,
That is this generation.
yeah,
yes,
but then even when you go back to ours, we still had ours.
That crazy.
We had no, but we had the pink hair. We had
we did.
the
But
pink,
We
the
did.
red hair,
from state.
the blue hair.
Each,
Yeah,
each
but
generation
just saying,
has
each generation have
Yeah.
there are things because being a punk rocker was ours. It's like, don't you dare be
Yeah.
a punk rocker. But it was like they dressed cool though. You know what I'm saying?
right.
They
So
But the thing is, here's the
uh,
thing. The difference is once we became parents,
yes.
once we became somebody's parent, we I mean, because yeah, we all did our little whatever, how we dressed when we were growing. I remember my dad having a plaid suit with a plaid hat, with a plaid vest, with plaid shoes.
Planned it
You
out.
know, everything was plaid. They had their own way of dressing. Mom had the fro, but the difference is once we became professional people,
Yes,
mhm.
that's it.
we knew how to we now transformed into our real adult self. We became adults. These people not changing.
No.
It's like they
Like
may well just accept me. I saw a
being
girl with her. Why you got your hair all the way down to your ankles?
Mm-hmm.
Why? How do you work with your hair all the way? How do you work with your nails all
exactly.
they I can reach you. I can reach you.
No, I be wondering something else. How you wipe your butt?
Like I can literally, I'm like, how do you do that? Because your nails is like Edward Scissorhand,
Right.
and I don't understand
And how
that.
you type like that?
Right.
I mean, but it's totally
It's a
different,
different generation.
and
Mhm.
and
It is.
but the thing is, they're so dysfunctional in every way because they can't. They because they use texting to do things.
Yeah.
They
He said
don't
Cardi
know
B
how to
said do it.
properly communicate, so everything is abbreviated.
Because
And
they can't spell. They don't know how to spell.
right,
Mm,
right,
mm.
right.
Oh, listen. Oh my God. But then also, this society doesn't know what it means. Let me say, the majority of this society doesn't know what it means to work for what you want.
Correct.
The society
Yeah,
of the day feels that everything that they want should be given to them instantly.
Exactly.
Now, I will give them credit for this. They changed the norm when it came to pay. So I got to give them credit for that.
Yes.
when it came to what?
When
Hey.
it
Oh yeah,
when it came to pay, this the generation, well, actually no, the millennials are the ones that changed the actual pay scale, and I give them credit for that.
Right. Right.
Yes, because they forced the norm to be changed.
Right.
yeah.
Because I went to college, I came out of college. This is what you're gonna pay me. If you don't want to pay me, then bye. I'll find somebody else that will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when companies started, then when enough of them start coming out, companies realize, look, we got to start paying these people for what they're worth.
Mhm.
Well, y'all, it is 7:06. We just conversating on the people Facebook today. And Derek's final words, he said, Carly B said, do it. Well, yeah, Carly B does a lot for her to be a mom.
Right.
Hey,
2 kids.
Yeah, with 2 kids. 2 kids. But this has been a great show. This has been a great show. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't know how we're supposed to be talking about how we bridge the gap. I'm not sure how, other than for me, I think that we have to just continue to model how we want them to be, and we can't be children trying to have adult people act like adults.
mhm.
The millennials, we have to step up, and because we're that generation now. We're that generation that they look up to, and if we're still doing what we're doing,
Right.
then we are not modeling for them good things and what we want them to be. Final
Mhm.
words, Pastor Melanie.
Yes, we have to lead by example.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Isaac.
I think that we have to continue to mentor uh, the different generations into understanding how that we got where we are, and so that some of those standards that we had back in our day can continue to be transposed and transformed into today's society.
Mhm.
Dr. Bennett.
I would say we need to continue to grow up so that the things that we grow into will show up.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I like that. I like that.
Oh, help us, Jesus.
Had to give
That
a hand clap for that one.
was good. That's good. Yes. Well, you guys, it's time to go. We got to go. They're going to kick us off the show. But you have been watching Breaking the Silence, and I don't even think I introduced us, but in case you didn't know, I am your host, Lady V, and I have my host, Dr. Yvonne Bennett, Dr. Isaac Davis, and Pastor Melanie with us today. And we've been talking about bridging the gap
Mhm.
generations. So next week, we're going to talk some more about our young people. We're going to talk about young people and crime. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
We're going to talk about it. But until then, we want you all to remember that we come on every Tuesday at 6 o'clock pronto. And we really, really appreciate everybody today, all of our viewers and comments. And thank you very much for joining us today. But until next week, always remember that you
You
have
have
a
a
voice.
voice.
Good
Yes.
night, y'all.
Good night.